All right, men, welcome to today's episode of Strong Men, Strong Marriages. Are your rules for life taking you where you want to go? So, in my therapy this week, we were, we were talking about um, after dinner jobs at our house, actually, and how, for me, it was kind of like, you know what, you cannot do anything else until your after dinner jobs are done. It's dinner, then you do the jobs, and then you can do other stuff, but it does not go in any other order than that. And she was kind of challenging me, like, well, you know, does it really have to be that way? Is that, or is that just your rule? Um, and it just kind of got me thinking, man, like how many rules do I actually have that I'm kind of assuming are just how things need to be in the world that maybe isn't exactly true, and maybe there can be some flexibility. But more than that, as I started kind of jotting down all of my rules for life, what I started seeing was, man, these rules aren't really taking me where I want to go. And it helped me see that I needed to take a look at them and really filter my rules for life through um, a different lens. And so I'm going to share some of that with you today. My name is Mike Fraser, MD. I'm a psychiatrist and marriage coach. I help high achieving Christian men have more intimate marriages. So, some wins from guys in my Strong Men, Strong Marriages program. Guys are delivering their apology letters, which is a big part of the program, kind of seeing where we've hurt our wives, where we've done stuff that's been a problem. Um, Sometimes I like to say that the program is about seeing negative patterns, replacing them with more attractive, positive patterns, and practicing those new patterns. I still think that's a pretty accurate representation. So, yeah, apology letter is a big part of that step one, recognizing the negative patterns that need to change, seeing how it hurt the people that we love. And that's kind of like what I'm doing here with this in a way. Um, Guys are finding healing after hurt. Look, we've hurt our wives, and we can find healing after that. Maybe our wives have hurt us too. We can find healing after that. We can do it. Okay, it's happening. Guys are enjoying great conversations with their wives, spending time, laughing, having fun. Guys are having more physical intimacy with their wives, which is super fun and great. For me, I had a great date night with Elizabeth this week. Super fun, progressing through some kind of challenging times, but we're getting to a much better spot. It feels good. Um, I also had like what turned out to be a really good win as far as me getting angry like I have in the past with some stuff that was going on. The kids were playing in the front room and kicking a ball like super hard. I asked them to stop. They didn't want to. I grabbed the ball. I threw it out. And then one of my sons I was like, "You're gonna break something." He's like, "Well, this thing doesn't break." It kind of gave me attitude back. And so, in the past, I definitely would have gotten much more angry or taken things a lot farther. I was able to just stop, look at him for a while with a mad face, but then just walk away. Um, and it was a win for me to be able to do that, right? Not act in a way that was going to damage relationships, um, be able to come back later more calm. And my oldest son actually told my wife that he was proud of me for doing that, which was, for me, that's a huge win. So that was exciting for me. Um, but when I say rules for life, what I'm really talking about is like how are you supposed to operate in the world? How are you supposed to be? What are those like shoulds that are there for you? How's your body supposed to look? Okay, how are other people supposed to treat you as a husband and father? What are they supposed to be doing in their lives? Okay, so as I started jotting some of these down, I'll just give you some examples. As we were kind of doing this. So you should exercise with a goal in mind. Always have a goal in mind for everything that you do. Clean up your messes. After dinner, you do after dinner jobs before you do anything else. Have career goals. Get out of the house when you're 18. Um, you know, no one should bother me after I put them to bed. um, there's a very specific sequence for dinner. Before dinner, you say a prayer. During dinner, you do table talk and highlights. You always do that. Make sure you clean up before you can relax. That was kind of what we were talking about in therapy. Like, does it really have to be clean before you relax? Or does stuff have to get done in the time frame that you want? Um, Work before you rest. Earn what you get. You got to earn it, right? Um, if there's a problem, work to fix it or stop complaining about it. Okay. So work and then play, work and then rest. Make sure you get it first. Get as strong as you possibly can. Get as smart as you possibly can. Get as much money as you possibly can. Winning's what matters. Get things done as quickly and efficiently as possible. Get things done now. Okay. Only eat treats if it's in your calorie count and aligned with your goals. Okay. Um, uh, so anyway, like my number one job as a husband and father is to provide financially. Elizabeth's number one job is to be there for me emotionally, physically, cook and clean, and sexually, right? Um, you should have a six pack. Fat people are lazy. A real strength would be getting up to a 300-pound bench press and 500-pound deadlift. If I can't do that, really, I'm weak. I'm weaker than most people, or weaker than I should be. Efficiency is king. Everything inefficient's terrible. I shouldn't weigh more than a certain weight, right? And always be able to see my abs. So, like, my way's best unless someone can show me a measurably better way. All right, so like it goes on and on, but like some of the things with the kids are like, you know, um, because my little son's still at home after 18, he's a loser, right? And my oldest son is on the path on being here forever. Now, I kind of let myself be extreme in these as far as like thoughts that come up sometimes. Um, People in my family, they take advantage of me, right? This is like thoughts that I go to when I get in kind of more of a negative place. Uh, Kids should obey or be punished until they do. Okay, that's one. So, yeah, like as I was going through these, what I picked up was just like, man, a lot of it has to do with winning and losing. It just felt harsh, right? Like all this is really extreme, really harsh. And it was all kind of focused towards not being weak, not being inferior, okay? Wanting other people to conform with what I want. If they don't, they're in trouble, especially within my own family, okay? Wanting and needing to be a certain way to be good enough, okay? That's what a lot of my rules were about as I started to just reflect. And the way I did this, if you guys are interested in doing this, just I walked through the day and just as a thought come into my mind about like when it regarded like how people should be acting or how I should be acting, I just jotted it down. Just as it came up, I was jotting it down. But yeah, like this focus, okay? Things have to be done this way, right? Earn, succeed, right? All of that. What does it lead to? Other people should behave this way. If they don't, they're losers, right? So what it leads to, I feel like, is a lonely success, right? What I kind of picture at the end of my life, if I keep all these rules as they are, is like, yeah, I'm sitting at the end of my life, like in good shape and with a lot of money, but no one is around me. No one wants to be with me because I've been so like intense with how they should be and how I should be. And maybe I don't even feel that good. Maybe I'm thinking, oh, I have this much money, but I should have had that much, right? So a lonely success, I feel like, is where a lot of my rules were leading me and kind of are in a way still. And so what I saw I needed to do, and this is a practice I'd recommend to you, is just like just seeing, man, like what I really need here is instead of feeling like I need to achieve all these things to feel good about myself, is just spend time each morning and night feeling love for myself and from God and feeling like held by God and just like wrapped up in like, hey, like you're good, I've got you. Um, so I've been doing that. It's been great. It's been way better. It's helped me, I feel like, be a better husband and father. Um, Another little guiding thing that I'll share, but like that book, You Are Special, I've shared that several times on the podcast. That idea, right? Where if you spend time with God each day and just you're able to feel like how much He cares and loves you and wants to just hold you and be there with you, um, you stop needing as many stars, right? You stop needing people to tell you you're great. You stop needing to achieve so much because you're just okay with how you are because God made you and you're special because God made you and God doesn't make mistakes. That's kind of the punchline of that book. Um, and so like when I wake up and I look in the mirror, instead of being like, oh yeah, like I should be stronger or whatever, that used to for sure be my default. Now it's like, man, like look at how my body functions, look at my skin and my muscles and my bones and my fat, all of that. I love all of it, right? It all works. It's all part of me. Um, and even just like the physical part, being able to do that has helped a lot. Um, so yeah, just being able to be, yeah, sometimes I do good, sometimes I do bad, but God's still there. God's still holding me. God still loves me. I can still love myself. Um, so it's different, right? It's also relaxing. And for me, this is like what I feel like I really need to do right now. Um, that's been super helpful. Just relaxing a little more, right? Relaxing into that comfort with God and having Him support me and feel like I am loved and held and okay. Um, so that same night, I was kind of thinking through all this, I was thinking, like, what do I really want? That lonely success isn't actually what I want. So what do I want? At the end of the day, like, as I'm ending my life, right, I want to be around people who I love and who love me, and we're just sharing these great moments that we spent together. That's what I actually want. Okay, and so being loved in a community, right, friends, family, coworkers, right, that's the success that I want. Patients, clients, right, um, and so what I need to do, and I'm starting to do, right, is just evaluate these thoughts and rules, and just figuring out, okay, like, do these rules actually get me closer to that or not? You know, and so, for example, right? Okay, no rule, right? You got to weigh this much. You got to have this much six pack. You got to be able to lift this much weight. Okay, like some of those rules can probably stay, right? And just be like, hey, but it shifts because it's like, well, what do I need to do to stay healthy to be able to play games with my kids and grandkids and have a good heart and a healthy heart, be able to move around and not be all like stiff and stuck and be injured and all that. Um, it shifts, right? I want to be around and be healthy to do that. Maybe I'm doing some of the same exercise, but the intention shifts, right? And it's a lot more fun, really, when you're doing it that way instead of like trying to prove something to somebody that, you can lift this much, you can run this fast or whatever. Um, and again, there's different times in life for different things. I feel like maybe just in my time in life, this is kind of what makes more sense is to start shifting things this way. Um, and so yeah, like I've been thinking about getting the tattoo, and one that came to my mind was like putting an hourglass on my hand here, and just saying like make a moment today. And I've been trying to do that with the kids and with Elizabeth. Let's make a good moment today that we can remember and have fun with, and um, yeah, like I said, it's just been a few days, but I feel like it's helping. We had a fun time with the whole family. Yes, 2 days ago, had a great date night with Elizabeth. So yeah, so in summary, what I'd encourage you to do is just take some time to start noticing like what are those rules that you have for yourself and others. How are you supposed to operate? How are you supposed to look? How much money are you supposed to make? How much time are you supposed to work? Right? All these shoulds that are in your brain. And then figure out like where those rules are taking you. Are they taking you somewhere that you actually want long term or not? Right? Is that actually where you want to go or not? Um, and then figure out, wait, well, where do I want to go? A good exercise for that is like on your deathbed, you know, or at your funeral. What do you want people saying? What do you want your wife saying? What do you want your kids saying? Your coworkers, your community, your church, right? And then start operating and adjust your rules to help you get there. Okay. So join us in Strong Men, Strong Marriages. This is the kind of stuff we think about. This is what we work on, is really building a life that is going where we want it to go. And if you resonate with that idea of like, yeah, like let's really build something that, we have that great connection with our wife and kids and friends and family. And if that's where you're wanting to go, let's do it. Because probably if you're a high achieving guy, some of your roles look like mine. You should achieve this, you should accomplish that. That's what success looks like. Be successful. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But it does shift as far as like, should I make as much money as I can? Or should it be, can I impact, how many people can I impact with this? Now, a lot of times, because you impact more people or you impact that in a deeper way, you do make more money, which is great. But, just noticing that shift, like it matters. So join us in Strong Men, Strong Marriages. Let's do this together. Visit strongmen.io, join the email list. If you're a guy that can invest 5 figures in his coaching and development, let's work together. Let's do some intense one-on-one work and really get you kind of working through some of this younger stuff, doing these kind of things together. Look forward to working with you. So strongmen.io, fill out an application if you've got 5 figures to spend on this kind of thing. If not, join our group program that's open at the end of each month. All right, stay strong in God, men. We'll see you next episode.